please welcome Lars with Jase and Lauren and Clint.
Albo, when I say sweet, sweet, you say...
Yum, yum.
Yes! We're live at Gunby World Time for the 8:30 News.
And we're crossing to Clint, but he's not in his normal news booth this morning. I want to go home, I want to go home.
This is Snowbar.
There's Jase and Lauren, Clint as well. We are coming to you.
I got my booger in.
Oh, he's just picked the booger. Ain't nobody can tap that.
Woo! Oh, that was fun. That was great.
Was that highlights, was it?
There were some highlights and some lowlights.
I wanted more of them.
That was my charming child at the end, I apologise.
Picking his booger.
Yeah.
Gets it from his father.
Yeah, can't practice that, it just happens.
You can't stop radio guys from talking. You know, the good guys, they don't always finish last. Sometimes they finish first. Case in point here. Going back a little while, Jase and Lauren, two of the legends on my left with Clint, they were shunted from a gig at Kiss FM for reasons not of their own doing. They were quickly snapped up by Nova and immediately built a massive following. They've also tasted the sweet taste of success. It's Cinderella story all over again. Please welcome the legends. Did you guys see yourself after the Kiss situation being here on stage at Cairns Convention Centre talking about being number one?
We're pretty happy to be employed, to be honest, especially in this industry. I think we're wrapped with where we are, and not necessarily even just a numbers thing, it's just the fact that we get to continue this little adventure we started. I think that's why we were so devastated when, you know, we got the arse a few years ago, because for me personally, I love radio. I've grown up with it, and I just didn't want Lauren and Clint having that their only experience in the media of radio. And I'm like, no, it's not like this. And we would have been gutted to say goodbye after just working together for a bit of a year and a half at that point, where now we get to continue it. And we're three best mates. We actually really get along. We want to kill each other, and like brother and sister.
Yes.
The sexual tension is unbelievable.
Oh, that's revolting, Jason. No, look, I think in all seriousness though, we'd hoped that we'd be somewhere working together again, but of course, as anyone who's lost a job would know, you do wonder if you'll return to the same industry that's really burnt you quite seriously, if you have the courage and the strength to do that, but also if you are good enough to be back. So I think we hoped that we'd get to keep this brand together and keep the three of us together, but like Jase said, it is a funny old industry, and you just never know. Some wonderful people lose jobs and they don't want to go back into the industry, or they choose not to, or they don't get the opportunity to. So we're really grateful that we got this little second chance, and it seems to be working out better than a dream for us at the moment.
Yeah, and given that appreciation, it's funny how much more you enjoy what you do every day after that episode. We always loved what we did as a trio, but we just love it so much more. And, you know, without sounding cliche, we appreciate it as well.
So we are telling the trope of a Cinderella story here. It really is. For you guys, what was it, 2023 you joined Nova?
Yeah, the years are a bit fuzzy, to be honest. So
it's just
last year, started last year.
2024.
Yeah.
Morning shifts will make things very blurry. Let's take that time machine back to when you found out that you were being pushed aside. Did you imagine for a moment?
I think we had a big night, actually, didn't we?
So was it
went out for a drink.
Celebratory?
One drink.
Well, no, one drink.
It was a funny one though, because we're not silly, and I think when we were told we were losing our jobs, the people who delivered the news thought it was breaking news to us, but realistically for months we'd we'd known. I think anyone in that position knows when everyone's talking about you and no one's
100%.
talking to you. So it was almost a bit of a relief when we got that call. I knew, as soon as my phone rang, I knew what the call was going to be. I didn't answer it. I texted the boys. I was like, anyone else got a call? They were like, yeah, all right, let's deal with it. So it was a bit of a relief to be like, okay, we can actually get on with our lives now, because we were in a bit of a holding pattern, and not just us. We have a really great team. We had a great team at KISS as well, and you know, there were young people who had just bought their first homes, who were just getting engaged, who were planning weddings, who felt like their career was about to fall over, and they had no opportunity to go and get other employment because the year was coming to an end and they didn't know where they were going to stand. So for us, we were really protective of our team, and it was a bit of a relief. And we were told, don't tell the team, we want to tell them another day. And we were like, that's just not an option for us, you know.
I think the thing was, and not to talk on behalf of these two, but we weren't against the networking decision. Okay, that's how it's got to go. It's, you know, they're trying to network, that's the industry, that's the world we're in, but just things can be done so much better. You know, I think sometimes if you're just honest and straight up with people, and when we did find out, our team still rocked up for the next 3 weeks. We still delivered a show. No one dropped the ball.
Yeah.
You know, it just could have been more open and honest a lot earlier than that. Could have been handled so much better.
Yeah, we were told we didn't have to be there for any other mornings, but
We
there was
wanted
no,
to stump up.
Yeah.
There was no other option.
Yeah, there was no way we
concerned.
weren't rocking up.
And that was for our producers and our team as much as it was for all the people in sales that had looked after our show for the years in the past as well, and also for our listeners. We didn't want to disappoint anyone else, so we showed up every day.
And geez, the shows were loose from that point onward,
Yeah,
weren't
they
they,
were.
for the next 3 weeks.
We were having
Wow.
Yeah, what are they going to do, fire us?
there was a bit of that.
Again.
Ratings mysteriously went up.
They did. It's amazing when you have a few mimosas at 6 o'clock in the morning how fun the show is.
Jokes.
But jokes aside and looseness aside, Jase, you've been in radio since you were a teenager, since you were a 16-year-old.
Yeah, about 27 years now.
So that must have been a real kick in the nadges to find that you, the career that you've worked for in your entire life was potentially taken away from you.
It was, look, it was, I firmly believed before I worked my ass off I'd have smaller options out there and other things, and you know, your ego might have to take a sidestep and you do another job to pay the bills, and that's what you got to do. But like I was saying before, I was just more upset that I just felt like, well, getting this thing going, and I'm so protective of radio. I love it. It's all I know how to do. I just didn't want these guys knowing that that's their only experience with it.
And just further to that, Jase is one of the best in the business when it comes to being on air and being present on air and, you know, entertaining an audience. And what he brought to us was this immense sense of calmness as well in that situation. Jase, you know, I think you'd agree with that, Lauren.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an industry that Jase is immensely proud of being a part of, and Clint and I come from a television background, so I lasted about 6 months doing both, and Clint's managed to do about 4 years of the 7 morning a week cycle.
You guys did think radio people are pretty cooked though when you first got in the industry.
Yeah, we
still
agree
think
with
it.
that. That's never changed. But yeah, it's an industry that Jase was immensely proud of, and he'd worked his whole life in. And we started, and Jase basically had 2 work experience children with him, trying to learn what the hell we were doing. We got put together during COVID, and Jase and I had never even met before. It was like we were in an arranged marriage where I was living interstate and we were on the phone, and I was like, who is this guy that I've never met before? And we had a bit of a laugh about it, and then I, for some reason, decided to take a job with someone I'd never met before, took a leap of faith, and thankfully it's worked for us, and we love to hate each other, and we hate to love each other.
But I'm immensely proud of these two. These two took to radio like a duck to water. They really did. And they've just, like, Lauren is a completely different person at Nova. She obviously feels comfortable, and, you know, and she trusts the process or everyone there and just gives so much more. Clint, just from day one, it was like, oh my God, here we go, I can get to be a bit more loose on the Tonight Show here.
Well, Clint agreed to stay with us for 6 months, and 4 years later, there's just no way.
And it was crazy, when we were putting the show together, I didn't know these two were best friends, and they were saying to me, what about a newsreader for the show? And I said, I really like this guy on Channel 9, he seems pretty fun. I had no idea the conversation was going on in the background, where they said to Lauren, would there be anyone else you could see on the show? And she's like, Clint, I think would be amazing.
You can't fake chemistry for 4 years, maybe for a few weeks or a month. I do want to address the Kyle Sandyland-sized elephant in the room at some point, but I want to go back for a moment to when you received the call and you, is this true? You ventured into Nova's offices in disguise, is that correct?
Oh, the good call. The call to say we had another job.
Yeah, we liked answering that one. Yeah, we hadn't seen each other for weeks because, you know, these things take time and we just wanted to keep the secret. So we hadn't seen each other for ages.
I think it was about 3 months.
Yeah, and when an opportunity was coming up, I just kept saying to my wife, look sad if you're at the shops. It's like, we have no money. There's no options.
Except Lou was outside one day.
No, yes.
Lou did not do a good job being in disguise.
No, so for a long time, we've kept this secret.
Beautiful
and the lovely
secret.
people at Nova sent over some merch to give to my kids. And we didn't get it out to give to the kids because we weren't going to tell the kids because we knew they'd just, tell people. And then one night my wife came out in the merch and I was like, head to toe, looked like a Black Thunder driver. And then she vanished. Then she came back in. I'm like, where have you been? She goes, I just took the bins out. And I'm like, you fucking dressed head to toe like a Nova boy. Like,
didn't the kids go to athletics day in their red t-shirts?
Yeah. And then we sent them
It
in
wasn't
Nova
the
merch.
best secret keeping.
But yeah, the cover of Darkness. Do you want to go through it?
Yeah, well, we had to come in to do a photo shoot together. And at this point, Clint was very much in the equation, but it wasn't part of the initial announcement because we wanted to handle that separately as well. It was a bit more excitement because, let's be honest, Clint's everyone's favourite and everyone just wanted to know where he was going to be. So it was just the two of us doing this photo shoot. They put us in these big black vans, smuggled us in.
It was crazy. We were driving in separately. They faked some sort of fire test at Nova so all the staff would leave.
I mean, it was kind of unnecessarily elaborate.
And
right?
Lauren rang me and she's in a black four-wheel drive going along Beach Road. She goes, I feel like a fucking Married at First Sight contestant on the way to the wedding. This is rock bottom. I feel like I'm going to meet my husband.
And it was you, which made it even worse.
I know, even worse.
So if I had to guess, of the three of you, was Jase the best talker?
No. I'll try and get a word in with this one.
I think it depends on the day. You're staring at me aggressively.
No. The best talker.
Depends what we're talking about.
Exactly. We're just so different. And here's the thing, we speak about being a dysfunctional family that works so beautifully together on air at any one time. And because we are so different, you've got Jase, who is the dad who doesn't leave his suburb. You've got
This is big for me.
you've got Lauren, who's carefree but one of the most caring people on the planet, and me, who is the perennially single bloke who likes a big night at a nightclub.
You could not get three more different people. Well, I'm at Weekend Sport. Clint's leaving the club. The day we found out we went number one, Lauren's got a lot of celebrity friends, and she FaceTimed me from Greece with Matt Damon, and I was at a Greek takeaway restaurant picking up dinner. Like, that's chalk and cheese. But we're also different. But then Lauren will come to my kids' high school production. I'll storm in on a Thursday going, oh, God, I've got to go to Alice in Wonderland. Lauren's like, well, let's go. I'm Auntie Lauren.
there.
And then she'll come to
Yeah.
my kids' high school production.
Yeah, we've got wildly different lives, but it works. And we disagree a lot. But I also think that is what makes great radio, because if we all agreed, we'd be annoying 50% of the population, because there's going to be a whole bunch of people out there that disagree. So I think if you listen to our show, there is kind of an opinion for everybody, because the three of us have such varying opinions on things, interests, dislikes.
And I don't think I've ever met anyone with a contact book like Clint. Like, you say anyone in Melbourne, Clint will go, oh, yeah, I know them, I'll reach out.
Good and bad.
Yeah, good and bad. But
It's amazing the people you meet at 4 a.m. That's all I'll say.
Friendships that last a lifetime. Lauren, apparently you're not a big fan of... none of you are big fans of boasting about being number one, but you can today. We're all amongst friends.
we're actually number two today, thank
two
you.
at
So
the
that's all right.
moment,
We'll definitely not boast about being number one.
In America, the heavyweight champion is always the heavyweight champion, and the president is always the president, even when you're not in the White House. You have been number one, and it's only a matter of time before you get back there again. But you don't brag about being number one. Is that just a style? Is that you're not particularly a macho team? What is that?
I mean, don't get us wrong, we love the title of being number one. Radio ratings, to me, really confuse me. I think you can be number one in so many different aspects of radio, and there's always a press release that can skin a cat so many different ways. But for us, we just, we're not the show that you're going to see holding bottles of champagne and holding up another number one, and it's just...
Lauren called management the day we went number one. What did you say to them about the photo?
I said, don't you dare put up a photo of the three of us holding up our fingers like
And if you
absolute
AI
wankers.
a number one finger on my hand, I'll know.
Yeah, it's just not our style. We celebrated with our team and we thanked our audience. And sure, if we get to be number one for a whole year, a whole lap around the sun, maybe we'll claim it a little bit more. But I think at the moment, in such a competitive industry, you're number one minute and you're not another minute. And while it is so nice to celebrate those great moments, which we do, it's just not our style to be, popping bottles of champagne and pouring them on each other.
My wife said it to me once, and it's so true. She goes, you'll never remember the figures or the number in 10 years, but you'll remember the team you're working with and the content and what the show is known for. And for me, right at the moment, we're just in the sweet spot.
Do you study the ratings? Are they a pain in the butt?
I don't understand them.
No,
we have no idea.
Lauren and I come from a
how they
TV
work.
background primarily, or first, where the ratings come out every morning. So it's very different getting them in, what are they now, 10 weeks? See, we don't even know.
Yeah, I believe so around that.
Jase knows far more about it than probably we do.
I think you can. It can be dangerous to get caught up in them and make drastic decisions.
Yeah, and I think previously we'd sort of been taught when we first started to respond to those ratings, numbers and figures, which was confusing for us, especially when we were learning, because they were like, right, we've got to pivot. We've gone down in, I don't even know how it works, 28 to 45-year-old women. And we were like, but that was 8 weeks ago. We're already doing something different. Why are we pivoting now? We couldn't quite work it out, so we just did what we were told.
Also, I think we know when the show's a bit off or it's humming. Like, you don't need to wait for the book. You'll go into a survey going, yeah, I feel like we'll hold, we've been doing some good stuff. Or, you know what, if we got a little kick up the arse here, probably deserve it.
Yeah, Jase is like it. You can tell when ratings day or is approaching because he does this little like Fred Flintstone run around the office, like he prances and paces with this like nervous energy.
I'm very calm.
Lauren, you mentioned spraying champagne around the room, a very rare thing to do. Did you do that when you spotted Kyle and Jackie O's challenging performances in the ratings? Are you enjoying some sneaky comfort in knowing that they're having troubles in Melbourne?
No, to be perfectly honest, because we've focused so much on ourselves as opposed to what anybody else is doing. But I also think when you see a show having a hard time, what comes with that is a lot of consequences for other people. And so, it's been really sad for us watching a lot of our friends lose their jobs along the way at ARN in Melbourne as well. And the downsizing of the team. So, we're never people who are going to celebrate other people's lack of success. And it would be stupid of anyone to celebrate Kyle and Jackie O not doing well in Melbourne, given their success over the years and their success in Sydney. They're a powerhouse of a show. They've lasted in this industry for so long. And I think anyone would be really silly to think that these things come really easily. But it's certainly not anything any of us would celebrate, no.
Talk about some... Yeah, there we go. Take the applause when you get it.
Well, I think a lot of people would like to think that we really did celebrate that. And sure, it's really nice to do well, and when you get kicked and continuously kicked by other people, it's hurtful, and I think because of that, a lot of people would like us to probably have a bit more venom in us about other people, but.
It is sad. Every couple of weeks we catch up with friends who we used to work with over at ARN and, you hear about the anxiety and the fear that they're going to lose their jobs. It's not,
But herein lies, that is how our show sounds, and that's what I'd like to think our show sounds like that. We can be cheeky, but we're not nasty. And that first and foremost is how we operate day to day. And
that's our show rule.
That shouldn't dictate anything else that we do or think or say.
And home by 7 a.m. It's the two shows.
Most of the time.
You genuinely look like besties when you strolled into the speaker's room earlier. I can attest to that. Do we have any marketing people in the room? Put your hands up so we know who we're talking to.
I think they're hung from the party.
Everyone in the room. I asked that because I want to ask a little bit about branding and bringing branding into your show. And how do you identify that a brand concept that you would bring into your show is a good one, or that it looks absolutely terrible?
I mean, we had a meeting at Nova this week, sort of about this, and I think we are doing some of the sales team's heads in at Nova because we are so particular about every aspect of our show because
Very
we're
hands-on.
always really proud. We like to be really proud of the product we put out, and so we don't. When an idea comes to us and it's sort of all packaged up and done, we're like, oh, but if we did it this way, it'd be so much more genuine to who we are and to how we feel our audience would receive it.
Plus,
we're very hands-on.
We genuinely think it'd go down better for the client, therefore the campaign works better for them, then we get the return business, which in turn is great for us because we're making the company money.
Yeah.
But there has to be some integrations which you've seen. And
100%.
Can you give me an example? You don't have to, it'd be fun if you announced the brand, but go on.
Don't say man shake. You looked at me like...
There must have been a nightmare.
Of ideas that hasn't worked?
Yes. We want to hear a nightmare story.
Well, I mean, that's our other thing. When we started at Nova, we called a meeting with all the sales team and we said, we're a show that likes to run to the fire. If a campaign has started and it's day one and the client's like, it's not exactly how I heard it, I don't think it's working for me. Why are we fucking waiting till Friday to find that out and the campaign's over, then the client's unhappy and they'll never come back? Come to us Monday afternoon. Let's turn it around. Let's get in the room with the client. What's not working for you? Okay, what about if we tweaked it this way? So we sort of, touch wood, we haven't got ourselves into positions where we're like, that's a dog's breakfast.
Ultimately, Jase, it sounds better. It sounds
100%.
It sounds more authentic. It sounds, we like to think we're three very genuine people, and we're not going to mess with that in a sales space.
I don't think we've been in a situation where we're going, oh God, that was a real dog's breakfast. We've tried
There's been plenty of content ideas like that.
The content's terrible.
Not client stuff so much.
Could it be that your sales team didn't bring those ideas to you, that it was...
No, I think sometimes it's just, you've got to think a client's not coming from the actual broadcast world. So what I might hear in my mind might be completely different to what, Debbie at Kmart hears with the idea.
Yeah, and I think also sometimes with a national approach, what works for Fitzy and Whipper being two dads in Sydney isn't necessarily the same idea that would work for the three of us. And so we like being really hands-on with the product that's on our show because we really want it to resonate. We don't just want to say, yep, this is your brand, give us the money and we'll just roll out what you want, which sometimes works, but it works much better when we're really enthusiastic about what we're doing with the brand or the product.
And I think, like, listening to the radio, you can always tell when someone's presenting a client integration and they're into it or they've been a part of creating it compared to just being handed a sheet and they're just reading the lines.
So I was going to ask you about what advice you would give our marketing friends about how to get cut through. You sort of answered that. Is there any more advice you could give them?
I think it's got to be genuine. We've got to believe in what we're doing. We really do. I just think in this day and age people can see through bullshit.
Yeah, and I don't know if all stations and all shows run the same, but certainly from our perspective...
definitely through Nova. They're like, what do you mean you want to be across? Can't we just give you the national brief and you can go home at 9:30?
Yeah.
We're like, no, we want to be across every single part.
Yeah, we like to be quite hands-on, not just with what happens in our production team, but with clients, with the product. We like being involved in those conversations from the beginning, and I'm not sure if all shows work like that, but that's very much how we like to work.
We have a sort of an angry-looking clock in front of us. It's getting angrier as it counts down, which there's 7 minutes to go. We don't have much time.
I don't know. We're going to lunch after this. So.
Do not eat into lunch.
Liquid lunch, did you say earlier?
Yeah, there might
Cups
be
of tea.
glass.
I do want to ask a few bigger picture questions. AI, I haven't been to a conference in recent years where AI hasn't been front and centre in panel discussions. We have to talk about it. It's a big issue for journalism. I believe it can be our best friend and our worst enemy. I'm not sure how the next generation of journalists will find a foot in to writing if news stories are created by computer learning. What are your thoughts on AI and how it will reshape your business?
Well, when it comes to journalism, first and foremost, that's my passion. I started as a journo in a newsroom, and I'm certainly I do have concerns for the future of the craft. From a radio perspective, I mean, there have been traces of AI already that we've seen and heard.
I think some regional stations use AI for weather and traffic reports. There was ARN were in the media recently because they had a AI announcer on for 6 months and didn't tell people. After hearing it, I felt more secure in my job.
But the scary thing is getting better.
But it comes back to being genuine. You know, it's a robot talking to you. You know, like if I'm on the way to work and I'm on the Monash and I'm hearing about something tragic overseas, I want to hear a human telling me and how they're feeling about it. So I think for us in the spot we're in, you know, it's a skill we can, you know, lean on, but at this point, I don't feel like Robocop is going to put us to work.
Bringing it back to our show, the strength of our show, I think, is our ability to connect with the audience through storytelling, through opinion-based stuff, and what's happening in our own backyard, be it Melbourne for us. And I just don't think you will ever get that, regardless of how good the tech is with AI. Maybe wishful thinking, but
I've been covering the music industry full-time for 25 years, and in all of that time, there's been this thread which you'll hear pass through the community that commercial radio is dying. It's not dead yet. Do you have positive prospects for the future of your industry? Do you think that conversation will
I personally think it's changing. It's definitely changed over the years. You know, companies have gotten smaller. The amount of, you know, live shows have, you know, come down in size. But I think breakfast radio will always have a place.
Yeah, I certainly don't think it's dying. I mean, it's been devastating to see the downsizing and what we're seeing in our industry. But I know for me, I grew up working at Channel 9 in television, and it wasn't until I started on radio that I felt really connected to an audience. I think from a television perspective, Clint, you would say the same. Being on TV, a lot of people kind of say hi and wave, but once you're in radio, it's so authentic that people, you connect so much better with people. So I think, especially like Jay said, breakfast radio is such an important part of people's routine. It's a thing that you put on in the morning, and it is a part of your life, it's a part of your family, it's a part of your routine, and I think when you look at what's happened in recent times, being connected is so important in whatever capacity it is. For people who are isolated, they listen to our show and they feel a part of it, and I think it's so important. So while we are seeing the industry downsize, I certainly don't think that radio is dying to the extreme that I think some people are projecting.
There's heaps of radio shows that I grew up listening to, and I feel like I know them. I know their kids' names.
It's comfort, isn't it? It's comfort, and people crave comfort.
So if radio isn't dying, if commercial radio is not going anywhere, let's give some advice to people who want to get into your industry.
My rule is polite but passionate. So one of my sons isn't going great at school at the moment, and I said to him, you just got to be the hardest worker in the room. Be passionate, but be polite. You know your place, don't keep pushing for gigs, but be willing to work harder than anyone else in the room.
We were speaking about this earlier. All the talent in the world with no drive gets you nowhere. But
absolutely.
A little bit of talent, a hell of a lot of drive, you can go anywhere.
Don't be a cockhead, it's the other rule. I think it's pretty simple.
Some of those guys do get quite
far.
Yeah,
they do, but their time runs out.
Get that tattooed somewhere. We have 2 and a bit minutes to go. Probably enough time for one more question. Can you see yourselves in a life post-radio? What does that look like?
Well, Lauren and I said we'll run the DJ booth at a skateway one day. What was the skate park? Where we saw the DJ booth going, all right, here we go, reverse skating. Slow the music down. And we're like, oh, God, that's us in 5 years at Rollerama.
Don't
Still
laugh.
working, though.
I interviewed Dom Dollar recently. His first paying gig was at Strike Bowl.
Yeah, great.
Well, tell him if he's looking for a couple of DJs.
A life post-radio, I mean, I hope not. For me, I obviously would like to go on and have a family and start a family, and I think I'm working for a company who are very supportive of that as well. So I would like to hope that I can move forward in my life and in my career, which as a woman sometimes can be really scary. But I feel more than ever working for Nova that I would be supported in whatever life choice I decided to make, and would be able to maintain my career as well, which has been a really nice change for me, because that hasn't always been the way in some other places I've worked. So yeah, for me, I'd like to hope that I can move forward with my life, but move forward with my career at the same time. And I love doing radio. It's changed my life. It's changed my friendships. This has just been the most glorious job. And it's just been the most, even though there's definitely been highs and lows, it's been the most wonderful, wonderful experience in industry to
We
join.
arrive at work really, really early, way before the show, and we'll look at each other in the car park and just go, we fucking love this job. Like, we love that we get to go and do this each day with our mates. It's the best. And Clint will own the club in 10 years.
I think that's because we have felt more recently just so supported, be it via management at Nova or by our listeners as well, who are just absolutely unreal. So,
Yeah, hopefully you're all stuck with us for a long time.
Clint, Lauren, Jase, I've felt some really good vibes from you guys up here. I hope everyone in the audience felt it too. Please thank legends on my left.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thanks for having us.